So Lego sets have a set period of time where they're sold in retail stores and then they retire. They're no longer available, they're no longer manufactured because the Lego group goes on to make different sets in the future. But when do Lego sets actually retire? What month of the year do Lego sets retire? Is there a specific time frame where we know that a lot of retirement is going to happen? Is there certain months of the year that have more retirement than others? Let's figure it all out. Now, recently I made a video where I walked through the average shelf life looking at the different Lego themes. So we figured out on average how long are each of the different Lego themes around for before they retire. But today I want to actually answer the question, which month of the year has the most retirement? Do all Lego sets retire at the same time of every year? When does this stuff actually happen? And if you're new here, welcome. This is BrickBucks, where we talk about Lego investing. We buy Lego sets, we hold them after that retirement date while the values increase. So if you want to learn about Lego investing, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and let's jump right in here and look at these numbers. So I've got a table of data here, and what I did was I pulled some of the numbers on Lego sets. These are Lego sets that were released after 2016. So I've got 2016 right through to 2022 included in the numbers here. And what I've done is I've pulled the retirement dates and actually looked at which month did the set retire. So what we see on the left side here is the month of the year, and on the right side here we see the number of sets that retired in that month. Okay, so it doesn't matter about the year, it doesn't matter about what the sets are. All we're looking at here is the total number of Lego sets that have retired since 2016 in that month of the year. Okay, so in the month of January we've had 0, so we have 0 Lego sets have retired in January since 2016. It doesn't mean that it's never happened in the history of Lego sets, but since 2016 there has been no retirements in January. This is of course because a lot of it happens in December. So January has no retirement that happens. In February, we've had 2 retirements since 2016. In March, we have 5. In April, we have 2. So very, very few sets, because again, in this data, I had over 1,600 sets. There was 1,691 sets included in the numbers here that were released since 2016 and retired. So then we have in May, we have 16 sets. And in June we have 5. Now in July it jumps a little bit. So in July we typically do have a wave of sets that retire. There's been 185 in the last couple of years that have retired in July. And typically we call this, as Lego investors, we call this the July retirement wave, because there usually is a wave of sets each year. There will be some sets that are retiring in July. In August, there were 3 in the last couple of years. In September, we've had 13. October and November both had 4 sets. Of course, that's very, very small numbers. And then December, we had 1,452. Okay, so what does this tell us? Right away, we can see the vast majority of Lego sets retire in December every year. Okay, the vast majority in December. We do have some retire in July every year, and then all the other months of the year is just a small little sliver of sets. But for the most part, we have retirement happening in July and in December each year, with December being a lot bigger than July, a lot bigger than any other time of the year when it comes to retirement, which of course makes the run up to December a very important time for Lego investors, because that's a time when we have the opportunity to buy Lego sets just before they retire. And we do have that opportunity again in June and May as well, coming up to the July retirement wave every year. But the quantity of sets that are retiring in July is just so much smaller than December, so there's less opportunities out there for Lego investors. So this is the overall picture of the breakdown. When you look at the month of the year, when does retirement happen? It happens mostly in December. There is a wave in July, but the rest of the year is just a very, very small handful of sets. Now, this doesn't mean that a set that you might be interested in buying will definitely be in July or December. Again, we do see some sets here that are outside of those dates. We see some months here that are double digits. We see May and September both having double digits here. And so there's always a chance that the set that you're interested in will retire outside of July and December. But for the most part, the majority do retire in one of those 2 months. And this gives us a nice kind of cycle to keep in mind, right? Because every 6 months or so, we have some sets retiring. So we can look at July being the mid-year and December being the end of the year retirement waves, and we can plan accordingly as part of our Lego investing business. Now, I also wanted to look at each of the themes. Now, this is not every theme, but most of the themes, I wanted to just quickly glance over them and see which ones are super predictable, which ones always retire in December, for example, which ones actually are a little bit kind of more mixed, and sometimes the sets retire from that theme in different months of the year. So let's actually quickly look at some of these different themes here. And right here we have architecture in the top left, and out of all of the sets that I looked at since 2016 in architecture, every single one of them retired in December. Okay, we had no retirements in July, we had no retirements any other time of the year. Everything retired in December. The same thing for Lego Art, which of course we've only had one wave of retirement in the Lego Art theme so far. They all retired in December, so 100% of Lego Art sets that have retired so far happened in December. Same thing for Brick Sketches, the exact same kind of thing happened there. There's only been one wave of retirement and they all happened in December. Now Brickheads is a little bit more kind of spaced out, right? In February we had 3% of sets retire, July was 2%, August 2%, November 5%, and December was 88%. So out of all of the Brickhead sets that we've seen retire over the course of the 6 years in my data set, December was 88% of the time for Brickheads, and we had some sets retire in different months of the year for Brickheads. Now City, we can see it really does stick to those two waves, the July and the December waves of retirement, with 6% retiring in July and 94% retiring of City sets retiring in December. But we do see some City sets going in July, and it is part of their cycle. So we definitely have to be aware of that if, we're buying City sets, of course. So July and December for City. Lego Creator was the same thing. We have July for 7% of the sets in the data and December for 93% of the sets in the data. So that's a good chunk of City and Creator sets that may go in July. So we always have to be aware of that. Next up, we have Creator Expert in the top left here, and this was 100% in December. Every single Creator Expert set in the data that I looked at retired in December. So that's pretty dependable. We kind of know if a Creator Expert set that we're interested in is going to retire, there's a higher likelihood it will happen in the month of December. DC Comics Superheroes is a little bit more spaced out. We had July here included with 7% of sets that have been retired. October had a couple of sets here with 2%, and December with 91%. Again, you can still see, even on the themes that are a little bit more spaced out throughout the year, they still have a vast majority in December, okay? Every theme has the majority in December. There's no theme that focuses entirely on July. Everything is mostly in December, with some in July and some in other times of the year. For Lego Disney, we have July with 5% of sets retired and December with 95% of sets. For Lego Dots, we have November had a little bit more representation for Dots, with 6% of sets retiring in November, which is interesting. December makes up 94% of all of the retirements for Lego Dots. Duplo, there's a lot happening in July for Duplo. In July, we had 16% of all retirements happen for Duplo, and December was 84%. And then Lego Friends is also kind of spread out here. We have some in March with 3%, June with 3%, July is 11%. And December with 83%. So once again, here we see July actually making up a really big chunk for Lego Friends. We have a lot of retirements in this theme in the summer wave of retirement each year. Next up, we have Lego Harry Potter here, and this is July 7% and December 93%. So there have been some retirements in July in this theme. Lego Ideas 100% in December. There has not been sets retired in July or any other month of the year for Lego Ideas in the past couple of years in my data set. Lego Jurassic World is next, and this is 13% for July. So this does tend to have some retirements in the summer wave. And then December, 87% for Jurassic World. Next up, we have Marvel Superheroes, with July at 10%, October at 1%, and December at 89%. Again, vast majority for December, but there is a good chunk of sets that have retired in the summer wave in July for that theme. Then Lego Minecraft, 5% July, 95% December. Ninjago 23% July, 77% December. Now this is one that, you know, is kind of important to pay attention to if you're a Ninjago buyer, collector, investor, or fan, that we do tend to see a good chunk of Ninjago sets retiring in the July month retiring wave with 23%. Now next up we have seasonal, always in December. Every set that in the seasonal theme that retired in the data that I looked at was in December, 100% of the time. Speed Champions, interesting here. July 26% of the time and December 74% of the time. Now this one I need to make a call out that the only reason July is heavy here is because we had a bit of an anomaly with the last wave of the 6 stud Speed Champion sets getting pushed out from their usual retirement date, which would have been December of 2020, and they got pushed out to July of 2021. And so as a result, we have kind of a heavy weight here for July, but usually that theme does pivot heavily towards December. Most retirements do happen in December for Speed Champions. Next up we have Lego Star Wars, which has had 17% of retirements happen in July. October, 0%. Now the reason October is even mentioned here is because there was one set. It wasn't even enough to make up a percentage, but there was one set that retired in October. And then in December, 83% of sets retired in that month. So a pretty big representation for July for the Star Wars sets as well in the past couple of years. Next up we have Lego Super Mario with 32% in July, 3% October, 65% December. That's the lowest percentage for December out of any of the themes here. 65% on Mario because of that July wave being so kind of heavy for Mario. And this of course is heavily skewed by this year 2022 having so many Lego Super Mario sets that retired. Next up we have Lego Technic with July 8% of sets and December 92%. So heavily in favor of December on Lego Technic. So overall, we definitely see that heavy weighting towards December, that kind of most sets do retire in December. It is the most exciting time to be buying sets that are about to retire because, of course, every single Lego theme has sets that retire in December. There's no theme that avoids December and focuses entirely on July. They all have retirements in December each year. So for buyers, there are more choice. There's more things that you might be excited about to jump in on, and it's a great time to be a Lego collector, investor, or Lego fan. So regardless of which theme you are a buyer of, it's important for us to understand as much as we possibly can about that theme. What are the cycles, the retirement cycles? What are the average shelf lives of those themes? Which sets have done well in the past, and all of these different things. So I hope that this has helped you to kind of see what usually happens in the themes that I am mostly interested in. Which months should I be paying attention to? How should I be managing my cash flow that I want to invest in these sets, and all of those things. Now, if you want to learn more about Lego investing, make sure to check out our completely free Facebook group. I'm going to put a link in the description below, so make sure you join that Facebook group and join in the discussions there. If you want to see more really interesting information about the Lego themes and the cycles of retirement and different things, I made an entire video on the average shelf life of each of the themes. So check out this video right here if you want to learn more about that. And lastly, of course, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit that like button to let me know. With that, thank you so much for watching. I'm Shane from brickbucks.net, and I will see you in the next one.